What is going on, guys? It's your boy Trev the King here, and today I will be bringing you guys my Week 3 team builder against Manaphy City, and their coach Cam, also known as, I believe, Cadilax 13 on YouTube. But yeah, Cam has recently become pretty good friend of the league. Obviously he joined the league and he's new to this season, and he happens to be in our division. So that's very, very exciting because this is a very important match. All division matches are important, especially this year. Last year my division was the weakest division. This year, every division is pretty well stacked, and you could still argue that our division maybe not the strongest, but it's still like compared to the other ones, overall it's a very, very strong division. But I really need to win at least probably 2 or 3 division games this year, and winning my first one would be a excellent start to the season. To division play is what I mean, because I've already played 2 games this season. But to do that, I'm going to have to really prepare well. He just has so many threats to my team, and it's going to be a tough battle, but I am ready to play and I'm ready to build. Now, I haven't, the first 2 team builder, well, last week I didn't even upload a team builder, but my first one I didn't show you guys my team or the opponent's team. I just talked about him, like in terms of all 11 members of my team and all 11 members on their team. So right now, my team should be popping up on the top half, his team should be popping up on the bottom half. And yeah, so those are my 11 members that are currently on my team. Those are his current 11 members. And just in case for some reason they don't appear on your screen, for some reason, like I forget to put them in, his 11 members are Mega Pincer, Darm, Dragauge, Skarmory, Sylveon, Starmie, Hippowdon, Hydreigon, Alomola, Alakazam, and Chestnut. All very, very threatening mons. Especially the Darm. The Darm, my best switching would be a Fizdef Gastrodon, but I really don't want to bring Gastrodon because I think it's a liability. Plus, if he brings Choice Banded Darm, I get 2 KO'd anyway, most of the time. So that's not what I'm going to bring. So I'm not going to be spoilers. I'm not going to be bringing Gastrodon. So when I eventually show him your team right now, you see that there is indeed no Gastrodon, but you also see, wait, you don't have a single resist, like not even Greninja. And you are right, sir. And madams, you are right. So I will get to what I plan to do about Darm in a little bit, but to start off, my first set is a very similar set to the one I brought against Rhinoclist set, to the one I brought against Togue last week. It's still Infestation with Recover. That's the same. Instead of Calm Mind Psychic, it's actually Toxic Knockoff. Now, if I would have brought this Rhinoclist last week, I pretty much would have won. But I did not. I totally blanked out about a Calm Mind Crest, and I didn't even bring Toxic on a single mon. And so this week against the bulkier team, I'm definitely not going to ignore that. This Rhinoclist is kind of like a choice specs Dragauge check. It can switch into and take 2 Dracos as long as they're not choice specs. It can take 2 non-choice specs Sludge Waves. The reason why I say non-choice specs is so far Cam, he doesn't really seem to be a big choice variant guy. Besides like obvious mons that usually run choice items like Choice Scarf, Hydreigon, and like Choice Scarf or Choice Band Darm. He did run like Life Orb Darm last week and he ran Spit of Hydreigon, but I just have a feeling he's not going to bring choice specs Dragauge. He seems more like a Toxic Spikes Dragauge lover, so I think he's going to bring that, or at least kind of like a mixed Dragauge, because in week 1, he brought a Gunk Shot Dragauge to take on Chansey, and since I have Blissey, I'm expecting him to at least think about it, so I don't think he's going to be choice specs. So that's why I'm bringing this Rhinoclist. It also can take like a Draco from, and even like a Dark Pulse from Hydreigon, although it's not meant to. It's also a pretty good check to Starmie. I should be able to take 2 of any hit, maybe even switch in. Also helps me with Alakazam a lot because I can knock it off. Can't really get off any damage through Infestation, but I can knock it off. This is mainly meant to trap Dragouge, Chestnut. It's also a pretty good Chestnut, although I'm not, don't have any Fizz Def investment, so if he's like offensively invested with Wood Hammer, that could hurt. I mean, really, this is meant to just trap Hippowdon without Whirlwind, which he might bring because he probably, considering I only have 1 Defogger, he might just bring Hazard Stack, which, you know, is kind of concerning considering, again, I only have 1 legitimate Defogger in Togekiss. But Whirlwind Hippowdon is probably a possibility, but if he does not have Whirlwind, he will be trapped and he will die to this Reuniclus. It also traps Dragouge. Again, assuming that I don't get 2-hit KO'd by Specs Dragouge. It can't really beat Skarm 101, but it can at least stall it out of a lot of its attacks. Even if it's Rocky Helmet, I have Magic Guard, which I believe is not affected by Rocky Helmet. Yeah, I don't think so. It can also, I mean, basically this thing can trap half his team and then eliminate them, which is why I'm bringing it. It's very, very nice for his team. Now, Mega Pinsir overall was a big threat to my team. I did have Raikou, as you can see right there, to outspeed it, but I still wanted a more defensive check to it rather than, I wanted something that could switch into it. So right here, I have Doublade with mostly Fizz Def. Now, the speed is so I can outspeed Hippowdon by a good amount, like by 5 or 6 points, just in case he like speed creeps, expecting me to speed creep one of my own Mons. So that's why I outspeed it by like a good 6 points, I believe. This is meant to totally counter Hippowdon. If it's down to my last Mon, as long as his Skarmory is gone or like severely weakened, his Darm is gone or severely weakened, his Alomomola is gone, and then he's not like Choice Spec Sylveon with Shadow Ball. And then, you know, Chestnut really can't touch me, but I really don't want to be up against Chestnut. But if like I could really get like rid of 3 or 4 of his things on his team, I can use Hippowdon as setup fodder. And if it's the last Mon on my team, then even if he has Whirlwind, it's not going to do anything. And I'm really looking at this more as it was more for Pinsir, because, you know, if he doesn't run knockoff Pinsir, like if he's just Earthquake, standard Earthquake Pinsir, it also helps with that because Magnet Rise I can avoid, and like return, even like a +6 return, I don't even know if that 2-hit KOs me. It probably does, but yeah, I think it does, but I'm not gonna let him get up to +6. He's gonna die well before then. But yeah, and then I kind of just took out from some of the HP and some of the Fizz Def. I can still live like 2 Adamant EQs. I think I can even live like an Adamant EQ plus knockoff, which I don't think he'll bring both. I think he'll bring either one or the other. But yeah, this Doublade is kind of a win condition. It also, you know, if things don't work out, it's also nice HP sack fodder against Darm, you know, just in case my one thing that I plan to handle Darm goes down and I don't have anything to switch into Darm to. It'll just be HP fodder, basically. My next set is this Raikou, which is Thunderbolt, Toxic, HP Ice, Volt Switch. It's kind of more of a standard Raikou. It's basically standard Raikou set. I don't know if any of you guys watching this video right now have watched Blunder, but he's used this set, except I believe he used Wise Glasses. It's kind of a standard set, but I have leftovers instead for longevity, considering this is my backup Pinsir check. It's not a counter at all because it cannot switch in. Even Doublade's not technically a counter. I mean, I guess that it is, but if he knocks me off, there's a possibility that, like, after Rock, he might be able to kill with EQ. But this is my offensive check. Doublade is my defensive check. I always like to have at least 2 checks to a Mon, and hopefully, usually, one is offensive, one is defensive. If not, they can both be defensive and offensive. But in this case, it's, this is my offensive check, and Doublade is my defensive check. Okay. Yeah, Toxic for about on HP Ice, just so I don't get completely walled by Hippowdon. Although I could probably just be fine with Toxic, but, you know, I want to be able to actually hit Hippowdon at least decently if he does have, like, Heal Bell Sylveon. So yeah, that is the explanation for Raikou. Basically, right here, this next set, this is my Darmanican counter. And it's not a counter, it's not a check, it's not anything besides literally fodder. My dream is that Blissey, as long as if he's like Breed's Choice Scarf Darmanitan, my dream is Blissey gets up rocks as maybe he either switches into Darm or like Flare Blitz, and I live, because I believe I can live as long as he's not like adamant Choice Band or Choice Band at all. I might not even, I don't know. I haven't done the calcs in a few days. But my basically, you know what, I'd honestly be fine with no rocks against him. As this, I just want him to Flare Blitz me. Even if he superpowers, that's still bad, but at least I get some damage. That's why I'm rocking Helmet. Like, if he Flare Blitz me, he'll kill himself, basically. And if not, he'll be so weakened that after rocks, he will die. That's basically what Blissey's job is, and it can kind of support the team if I can pass a wish into anything else. So yeah, Blissey's role this week, you know, it had a pretty big important role in the last 2 weeks, set up rocks, and you know, it still sets up rocks this week, but its main role is to literally be fodder for Darm. that's its number one role. So next we have a Choice Scarf Togekiss. This outspeeds his entire team. I have it specifically EV to outspeed Alakazam by 1 point after the Choice Scarf boost. I think I originally had something else right here but I needed Defog. Somebody revealed to me that I indeed did need Defog in case he probably brought Hazard Stack, which, as I mentioned earlier, is probably a very good strategy to do, considering I'm pretty weak to rocks and I only have one Defogger. But Air Slash, Fire Blast, Dazzling Gleam, they pretty much cover his team almost very well. Like, I don't think there's anything that resists that combination. It doesn't hit everything super effectively, obviously, but it does hit everything hard except for like a Spadef. Sylveon, I pumped the rest of the EVs I didn't need for speed into Spadef so I could kind of take on Hydreigon that didn't have Iron Tail. Like, it was Flash Cannon, I believe. I could take a Flash Cannon decently well and be able to OHKO back, like if he was Scarfed thing, or I could at least switch into it without fearing too much. Again, if he ran Iron Tail and predicted that, good on his part. But I'm just fine with Togekiss be my only real check to Hydreigon. I mean, Blissey should be able to check it as well if he brings it, but you know, he has superpower, it's gonna do a lot, and really I want to preserve HP on Blissey for it to be Flare Blitz fodder. And finally, we have probably the biggest offensive threat to him. Doublade is probably my biggest. Doublade and Reuniclus are probably tied for my biggest defensive threats. Togekiss is also a nice offensive threat against him, but Kyurem is my main offensive threat against him. Specs literally 2-hit KOs his entire team, bar like a really bulky special Sylveon. The 2-hit KOs are OHKOs, I'm sorry, meant to say that. And if he runs like Fizz Def or like straight up offensive, like if he's just max HP, I think I still have a good chance to 2-hit KO with Ice Beam, and I don't think he's going to run Spadef or even like that much Spadef. I think he's going to try to run like mostly Fizz Defs or offensive, like maybe a Choice Scarf Sylveon to catch my Kyurem off guard, or maybe like a Berry Fizz Def to take an Iron Head with ease. But I bring Choice Specs Kyurem because everything on his team gets 2-hit KO'd by Ice Beam, except for like things like Alomomola, and even then like Draco 2-hit KOs. And if he's not Berry, even like Spadef Sylveon takes a lot from a Flash Cannon, a Choice Specs Flash Cannon. I didn't really need speed because I didn't want to have max speed, just the speed tie with like a Choice Band Arm, and I really wanted the Modest Nature for extra power. Like, if he's like full Fizz Def Skarm, I actually have a decent chance of straight up OHKO, and like I believe it's 50-50, even because Terravolt goes through Sturdy, obviously. But yeah, that is my team. I'm very much looking forward to the battle. A little scared because Darm can ruin my team, and I really hope that this Blissey works out, or if not, then I have nothing to take on Darm. I have nothing to take on Darm right now anyways, but if I lose Blissey, I literally have nothing. I basically have to sack 2 or 3 mons just for damage and hope that it gets in range of dying to Shadow Sneak from Doublade, or if he's like not Scarfed, I could put him in range of dying to like an Air Slash from Togekiss. But that is my team builder for week 3 against Cam and his Manaphy City squad. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, hit up that like button. If you want to see more content, hit up that subscribe button. And I will see you guys tomorrow with the battle. Peace.